Okay, well, this video is not going to be anything nice. Um, but I think it's like useful to just say it. Whatever, we might as well just be honest. So, okay. Here's a couple things that I've seen. This week I saw some video that's about some white Christian woman who is detailing why she became an escort. Also, I want to keep going back. I'm not going to keep going back to it, but I feel like black women who are overly consumed in purity politics and under consumed in marriage markets should really go like listen to the interview with it was like Candace Owens and the what is it, the What Now girls or whatever that interview was. Listen to that full interview and just listen to like both sides, because both sides are extreme, but also yes, this is funny. I keep my rent money now in like a little Tupperware thing because if I put it in my bank account, I just spend it. So I'm like, I have to keep it and then go get cashier or money orders to pay so I don't get. Anyway, not the point. Where were we going with this? Oh, so today, basically, some soccer, or it wasn't today, I think it was like 2 days ago, whenever it happened. I don't watch sports. But the point is, some soccer player, some black soccer player, he's on the field with this team, and then there's a white audience member who was basically like mocking him and like how he was doing the monkey thing. Like, ooh, ah, ah, ah. Right. And I made the other video where I inserted the clip where Matt Walsh talks about why like we are in the developed world and not the developing world, and what separates us from animals, right? And how animals, they just literally like procreate and like leave their children and like move on. And I'm not trying to be funny, but that's what black men in America do too. They just do. I don't know why they do it. There's no real explanation. And then the funny part about all of it is like the black dudes are like making rap trap songs, hip hop tracks, music videos, books and stories, animation rhymes that reinforce these narratives, and they're teaching everyone else that they are monkeys. And so now black women have like caught wind of this and been like, ooh, I don't really want a part of this. People like me are like, I don't want to birth a monkey. I'm so sorry. Like, that would be awful. I don't want to contribute to the madness. And now all of a sudden everybody wants to be like pro life, oh blah blah blah, whatever bullshit. Here's what I will say. Like, as a person who grew up with black supremacists and white supremacists, and I'm not talking about my grandma. Like, my grandma was racist. That's like, I will call my grandma a colored person. If you're African, you probably really understand what a colored person is. So my grandma's a colored person. So she's a colored person who exhibits racism. That's not what that's not what I'm talking about here. The concept of like white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and then black supremacists who basically they're those things are different. Like my grandma, who's this colored biracial person, who basically just she exhibited characteristics of anti-blackness, and she would say mean things, but she was just like historically she really had no land, right? Like, she didn't understand where like she didn't really have people. Like the biracial colored people from either Africa or America they're just mulattoes, like almost like indigenous people who have been displaced and kind of co-opted narratives that are like kind of related to some other group. It would almost be like, okay, if I have a dollar, right? Like, okay, so here's my dollar. And I'm like, I'm going to take this dollar and go to the store and get a bag of chips. And then let's say you are my cousin and I say like, okay, like I'm going to give you 3 of the chips in the bag. So you might have some investment in this dollar because you're like, oh, well, my cousin, she has the dollar and she's gonna buy the chips and she's gonna give me 3 chips. Like, the bag might have 100 chips. So like for me, giving 3 chips is not really, it's not really doing much. You see what I'm like? I still got like what 97 chips left. I only gave away 3. But to that cousin, they might really be invested because maybe they had no dollar and no chips, and all of a sudden they have 3. So to them, that's a come up. to me, I'm not really losing shit by giving 3 chips. This is kind of what it means to be colored in the world. It's just kind of like either story, you can get on board with either black supremacy or white supremacy, like either narrative, and kind of adopt traces of both. But in reality, what you say, your little like 3 chips, it doesn't make a difference. Neo-Nazis and white supremacists in America are literally fighting for like white supremacy and land in America, and they actually have it. Like California is a state, I think, with the most. It has the largest number of white supremacist groups. They're not really loud anymore. They don't do things like walk around in, Casper the Ghost white sheets. They don't do that shit anymore. That's played out. That's like from 1960s. Now they do shit like run college administration boards. They're board members and companies. They own particular neighborhoods. They're on the neighborhood watch. You know what I'm saying? They're like crime reporting. They invest in like education tracking systems. They build jails and prisons, all sorts of shit like that, where it's very like kind of undercover, but they still run shit and have like a lot of like pull and push into like what happened in the state, and they care, and they are making moves, and they're doing just fine, right? Because like their whole goal is like initially it was like to eradicate black people, because initially the country was just like black and white. And so I think they just didn't even pay attention to like, they did pay attention to like immigration in a sense. Like it was kind of like, okay, like, but nobody saw like immigration in the way that it has turned out. It didn't seem like it was like that big of a threat until now, where it's like, well, black Americans at least have been eradicated, but now these like Latino people, Mexicans and shit, Venezuelans, all the others, they're all people of color, and none of them fit into like the neo-Nazi narrative. There's no time where neo-Nazis are going to be like, yes, we hate niggers, but we love Mexicans. Like, that isn't the narrative, which is so funny to hear, like, so many, like, Latino people believing that they're, like, Aryan and white. They don't understand. This is what I'm saying. Like, the whole concept and definition of kind of, like, what Latin Americans, the way that they are thinking about racism, colorism, and power, they're thinking about it in this way, like just being and it's very strange, because like what they consider white is not the same thing as like Aryan white people consider white. And I always try to make that distinction, which is why like I can't really say I don't actually understand what the goal or the purpose of Latin Americans is coming to America, because it could be to like be American citizens, which would have a lot to do with democracy, but they keep introducing counterculture, which like objects their entire premise. Like the only way that Latin Americans are going to have a place in the country is for them to kind of get on board with the civil rights movement that Black Americans started, because they will never come and then just be white. Like, because that's what they don't understand. Like the whole thing about like Aryan supremacy and white supremacy is like this pureness of blood. And when I say that, I'm not joking. It's the blue-eyed, blonde-haired white. It's like Nazism, where they don't like Jews. Like Jews aren't white, Italians aren't white. Like the whole definition of almost like, how could we say it, like cultural inclusion in whatever like whiteness is. You have all these like Asian people who are claiming white on boxes. Like that's not what Aryan and white supremacy is. It isn't like intermixing where you are simply like on the lighter shade of the color. It is literally like, this country is for like Aryan white people. It's a form of Nazism. And to an extent, like it kind of has something to do with anti-blackness in a sense. So to get back to the soccer player, on the other end of this, there are literal black people from Africa who believe that like Africans invented civilization. Like this is where like my story becomes so important. Like I grew up with black nationalists, so it's like you grow up kind of learning all about like African history, African princesses, like the richest people in the world were black and African and they owned way more. They just had more power and land. Like the world history is large and expansive and the globe is large. Okay. Now something interesting is happening because there are some black Americans who just have so much wealth and power that to an extent they could like Jay-Z, for instance, is a person, he has like enough knowledge and he has like enough knowledge about himself, his own history, and now he's gathering more information about world history that almost like the Jay-Z and then he has like Beyonce. The Jay-Z Beyonce empire is like something new that we've just never in life seen before. It's like something completely new. And it's also kind of completely black. So I mean, I don't know. That poses a serious threat to obviously like white supremacy because also like Jay-Z and Beyonce are very much so black American. So they're like a black American power couple, which directly opposes white supremacy. Now, on the other hand, there's literally like what this soccer player is experiencing. He's just like black, right? I don't know which part. Maybe he's Brazilian or something else. I really don't know. But the point is, like the person in the audience was laughing and saying, like, you're a monkey. Now, here's the funny thing about this to me. When I was younger, I would have taken a sort of stance on this and been like, oh, that's so mean. At this point in my life, though, like, I kind of think he's a monkey too. I'm sorry. All the sports players, the rappers, all of them, they're all like entertainers. They're just like signing up to play a sport, to sing a song, to tell a joke, what the fuck ever. Their job is to like entertain all of us. Like, it's the circus. It's the circus. It's like in the same way that everyone wants to make fun of like porn stars or strippers. They're doing a job and they're getting paid to do the job. They're entertainers, soccer players, rappers, all NBA analysts, all of them. They're all entertainers too. This is called the profession of entertainment. You were just here to entertain everybody else. Like, nobody really gives a shit about like who you are and your personhood. And now the weird part about this is I feel like now in terms of counterculture, black men, for some reason, they've been like if you look at the black community right now and how it's honing in on Sexyy Red as though like what she has to say makes a fucking difference. First of all, like there's just not that many black women in the real world who are walking around acting like Sexyy Red. Like, no, I don't think, I mean, if you honestly believe that you are Sexyy Red and you are walking around talking about how like your booty hole is brown and your pussy is pink, you just have much bigger issues. I really think that you should seek therapy and also just enter the fucking real world. Okay. Like, bitch, do you have a job? Do you have an apartment? Like, I don't really know. Like, just if you were to actually like say some shit like that to just anyone, it's just such a strange thing to like say. I don't know what has gone on in her life to like normalize that behavior, but then it's like you have rappers like Drake who are like pushing this behavior to the forefront. Like, yes, this is us. And then Drake, I'm sorry, I don't mean to hone in on Drake here, but I just think he's such a good example. It's like he had like a baby with like a stripper. Of like all the women he could have access to, the woman that he chooses is like literally a sex worker. That's the woman that he chooses. And then he's like still not even really with her. He's like with someone else or with many other people. And then people are wondering why they call these men monkeys, because those men are like the role models, right, to like the other men, especially the other men of color, the black men. Like how many the statistics are alarming at this point. Like in the black community, there's basically like 0 men who are married. There's like 8% or something who are married. Everyone else is just having babies out of wedlock. All those men do not seem to like their baby mamas, whoever they are. You can give other examples. I feel like Kenya has unpacked what Tristan Thompson is doing. It's like he already has a baby with another woman, and then now he's taking care of Kanye West's kids, and like Kanye West isn't even taking care of Kanye West's kids. And then the whole thing is just, it's actually ridiculous. And another reason I would just encourage you, just stop the birth. Like you can't have these like halfway weird ass stories. Oh, the stepmom over here and the aunt, grandpa over there and the second cousin. And then and then people keep posting all these tragic stories of black women. Like, oh yeah. And then why do you think all the black women are going crazy? Because none of the fucking stories make sense. Like, if you really think about the state of the black community right now, Ice Spice is out here talking about it. She's like, so there is no. Ice Spice is a clown to a white supremacist or a black supremacist. Like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. It is a like almost like it's a disrespectful life form. It's just disrespectful. Like, I don't know. Like, that, some people think that some things don't deserve life. That would be one of them. Like, well, I don't even know what the fuck that is. It looks like a fucking clown. Like something that you would just paint in a circus. She's walking around with like red hair. Don't all the clowns have red hair? Like, it's like, girl, like that is an actual clown. Even the songs like Bunch, in every video she's like shaking her ass. It's just like, and then the weird thing, the media tries to spin it where she's like giving these articles talking about her family and her father. Why is her father having her out here like writing songs about shaking ass? Like, and then I heard Kenya say this, but I thought it was interesting. So she said how everyone on Taylor Swift's team probably like deeply regrets having Ice Spice on the remix to the Karma song. I highly agree with that. Like, I don't know who would have been appropriate because there's slim pickings out here. They're probably like, Taylor Swift has done such a good job of creating a brand that has nothing to do with other brands. Like, Taylor Swift herself is the brand. That's why you don't ever see Taylor Swift on like a Skechers commercial. I think she did one commercial that was for like a phone company, but it was like advertising her music playing on the phone. All these other artists, you see them, they'll have like brand deals where they're like Camila Cabello for Skechers or something. You know what I'm saying? If you notice, Taylor Swift has never done that because she is the brand. Or even Beyonce. She has like Ivy Park, which is her own brand. Or she actually did Tiffany & Co., but I think that's a very strategic partnership. It's like diamonds. That would make sense. So, anyway, yeah, I gotta say, like, I really hope, or even I will insert my own lived experience here because, like, for everything I could say about like white men calling black men monkeys, and I just want to be very clear here, this has nothing to do with black women. Even the ugliest black woman, the fattest one, the one who looks like Precious, who's just so awful, she's still a woman. And at the end of the day, even in white supremacy, even during slavery, she has value because she has a vagina. And there's going to be like some white male who wants her vagina. It just, you can say whatever you want about her. She still has like boobs and ass and a vagina, and straight white men who believe in the Bible and live righteous lives still want and will fuck her. So, the ugliest black man or the richest black man, the most attractive black man, will never be able to even enter the conversation because to a straight white male, he's simply a monkey. Now, this is why gender matters. And you can say what you want about gender equality and whatever, like, identity politics that you want to insert. But I gotta say, like, I just really live in the real world, and, like, I believe in gender by birth. And, like, we have to, either black men are gonna get on board with, like, giving pretty black women things and giving black women things, or there won't be a black society. And it's just like prime picking for, that's why I think so many black men right now don't even know how to feel, because like their best women, white men are taking them. Other men who are not black are taking them. The best black women, other men are taking them. And they are left with nothing, because even like uglier or more tainted or more whatever, however you want to describe lower tier black women, even those black women they have their careers, they have other things. So like, what do these men have? They actually have nothing. They have gayness or loneliness. There's nothing else. And the strange part about it is there's not even anything coming down the pipeline. There's the men who are married, who you guys probably are very familiar with. They're like walking around with their wives, whoever their wives are, their black wives, their white wives, whoever they are, their wives, right? They're being a part of society. Everyone else is not. And the everyone else is a lot of people. And the everyone else are the people who are funding this like underclass of society. Like, you can laugh at the OnlyFans girls all day, but you also can't deny the fact that they are literally profiting from the economy. They are making bank. I was watching a girl's video the other day where she was trying to understand why. She said she went through a point where she was trying to understand why OnlyFans girls would go on those podcasts and be made fun of. And then she realized it was for promotion, because once those girls go on those podcasts, other people who watch the podcast, these like red pill dudes who are like watching the podcast, they then start subscribing to their OnlyFans channels, and they make a lot more money because now people know who they are and they like watch them on OnlyFans and they make money. So it's paid promotion and marketing, which honestly is genius. Like, it's kind of genius. It's genius. But I would just say, like, I just want to really be like a very clear example of like, at every moment, Black women, you have to participate in the real world, however tragic it feels. You might be partnerless just because there's no suitable partner. The stakes are not in your favor. This is not our country. But don't ever forget the fact that you are a woman and you have a vagina. And that in itself has value. Whether you choose to like have a child with it or not, give it to some man or not, whatever you choose to do, there are hundreds of thousands of men all over the world who want to have your vagina and they want to pay for it. And they should be paying for time with you, whatever it is, which is why it's like so strange to really hear these men trying to complain about dinner dates, trying to complain about coffee dates and paying for things. If these men are not like, here's an example. There's a person that I work with and his birthday's coming up, right? He is literally taking on more shifts so that he can have more money, so that when he goes to Miami next week, he'll have more money to give to the strippers because he's going to the strip club. So he's trying to make as much money as he can to spend at the strip club. So like what else do you think these men are working for? Pussy? Like, that's, there isn't another thing. Like, they're not, straight men are working to get access to and be around pussy. There isn't another thing. You can try to sugarcoat it and play whatever games that you play. Be like, oh, it matters if she's fat or if she's ugly. Nobody cares. I mean, people do care. It's nice for like appearances or something. Like, richer men would like to have like more attractive vaginas, but you see how low the bar is. Like, you guys see men out every day with their ugly wives. Like, they take their ugly wives out. They're married to them. They go out with them. They take them places, all the things. It doesn't matter. They're going to keep doing that. What you have to do is think about yourself in your own time. If you're a high school student right now, are you going to college? If not, get a fucking job. Then you have to live within your income. Do the best that you can at your job. Try harder and harder to get a better paying job. But if you can't get a better paying job, then the one you have is the one you have. And you have to live within your means. And you also cannot couple up with a poor man who refuses to take any responsibility. Like, if you're with a guy who doesn't have a job, you actually have to leave that man, or else you will probably die. Because like, either way it goes, if you are sitting here watching this video right now, your life costs money. Wherever you are in the world, your life isn't free. You don't get to just sit and eat for free. Your life right now costs money. Making this video costs me money. It costs money. So somebody has to pay, and most likely is going to be you. So if you just get used to that and start paying the bill, you'll understand. I'll rant more a little later because I got Jada's new book, but I just wanted to say that. So, yeah.